It's 10 a.m. on WKYT Midmorning. Police charge 3 people accused of robbing a Lexington gas station.
See the police officer accused of stealing guns, drugs, and thousands of dollars in cash from a Kentucky police station.
And dreaming of winning the lottery? A lot of folks are. And we talked to an expert about what it takes to win.
This is WKYT Midmorning.
Good morning to you. We're glad you're with us just when you didn't think Friday would get here. It finally arrives.
It is here.
I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. And it comes with all of the things that Mike has been warning us about this week.
Changes are coming. It's going to be interesting, and then off into a cold week next week, it sounds like. Let's check in with him. He's busy. Good morning.
Very busy. Good morning, guys. We're going to be seeing a lot of rain still flying on through, especially over toward the eastern zones. Eastern zones, you still have about 3 or 4 more hours before we can kind of push that rain on out of here. West and central zones, including Lexington, we still have about 2 to 3 more hours. So, yeah, it's going to get on out of here, but look back toward the south and the west. There's nothing going on. Western Kentucky looks good. Tennessee looks good. That means for us, wait until the afternoon, and we'll start to see drier conditions. But as of right now, it's still pretty wet. Frankfort at 47, Jackson coming in 45 degrees. Focus on the forecast. Hello, snow lovers. You know what? You might get your wanting to happen coming up there for the weekend and toward next week. I'll have that coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Micah, we'll see you. And in the news and new at mid-morning on WKYT, we're tracking the investigation into a deadly crash in eastern Kentucky, and it involves a school bus.
Now, it happened in Harlan County on US 119 in the Blair community. That's east of Harlan. State police say a car rear-ended the bus, killing the driver of the car. The superintendent of schools says one child was on the bus at the time, along with the bus driver and a monitor. They were not hurt. Also new this morning, one person was rushed to the hospital after a crash in Montgomery County involving a semi. It happened just after 7 this morning on US 460 in Camargo, south of Mount Sterling. Witnesses told police that a car lost control and crashed head-on into the semi. The car then swerved off the road and caught fire when it crashed in a ditch. The driver was rushed to UK hospital. We don't have an update on his condition. Investigators say weather may have been a factor in that crash.
Also new on mid-morning at WKYT, police have identified the 3 suspects arrested after a Lexington gas station robbery. Kyron Jackson, Darius Suwee, and Jared Vaugh are each charged with robbery and fleeing and evading. Police say 2 of the men robbed the Circle K on Richmond Road around 2 o'clock this morning. And they say one of the suspects had a rifle at the time. A witness saw the men get into a Jeep behind the store, and police later caught up with that Jeep and followed it all the way to Appian Way, where police tasered one suspect and arrested all 3. A Lexington murder suspect is heading to court this morning. Alan Burgess is accused of killing Kiera Johnson on Scottsdale Circle in June of 2014. He wasn't arrested, though, until last month. This morning we learned that police have DNA and ballistic evidence linking Burgess to the crime. He will be arraigned in district court later today.
Investigators say an explosion at an eastern Kentucky home badly injured 2 people. The blast destroyed the home off Highway 32 in Lawrence County. Crews say both people inside were flown to a hospital. One was in critical condition, the other serious. Investigators think propane gas caused that explosion. A police officer is accused of stealing guns, drugs, and $30,000 in cash from a Kentucky police station. Police arrested Simpsonville police officer Terry Putnam at work. They say he stole the items from evidence lockers at the police department. Putnam claims surveillance video from a nearby gas station will prove his innocence.
A Philadelphia police officer who was shot multiple times is expected to survive now. Police say the officer was ambushed last night as he sat in his marked police cruiser. The gunman fired a total of 13 shots at close range, hitting the officer and his car. The officer returned fire, hitting the gunman at least 3 times. Police say the gunman ran off but was quickly arrested by other officers. Well, we are learning more now about 2 Iraqi refugees arrested following a multi-state terror probe. One of the men is from Sacramento, the other from Houston, Texas.
As Brian Webb reports, the pair may have been connected in some way.
Court documents reveal 23-year-old Sacramento suspect Awais Al-Jayab communicated over social media with an unnamed individual living in Texas back in 2013. In one exchange, the two allegedly discussed training and fighting overseas. The Texas person, identified as Individual I, writes, "I need to learn from your weapon expertise." Al-Jayab allegedly responds, "If you arrive and I am still there, I will train you." A criminal complaint unsealed Thursday accuses the Sacramento man of traveling to Syria from the U.S. and back again after fighting alongside a terror organization, then lying to investigators about it. Authorities say the Iraqi citizen originally came to the U.S. as a refugee in 2012.
This was an individual who was committed to going back home and probably as an Iraqi to fight what he perceived as were corrupt and authoritarian regimes.
Law enforcement officials accuse the Houston suspect of providing material support to ISIS. The 24-year-old Texas man entered the U.S. as an Iraqi refugee in 2009 and was granted permanent resident status in 2011. The charges have reignited a debate on the campaign trail over admitting Syrian refugees into the U.S.
We should not be allowing ISIS terrorists to come back to America with U.S. passports and wage jihad to attempt to murder innocent men and women in this country.
Both suspects are scheduled to appear in federal court today. Brian Webb for CBS News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is urging President Obama to halt the resettlement of refugees in the U.S. until there's an effective vetting process to ensure Americans' safety.
President Obama is giving some new clues into which candidate he might support in the general election. In an op-ed in the New York Times, the president indicated that he will not back any candidate who does not support what he calls common sense gun reform. Yesterday's comments come the same day that the president made his case for tighter gun control rules during a rare televised forum. The mother of the so-called affluenza teen is expected to be arraigned in a Texas courtroom this morning. Tiana Couch is accused of hindering the apprehension of a felon for fleeing to Mexico with her son after he missed a probation hearing. Ethan Couch made headlines back in 2013 when he was sentenced to just 10 years probation for drunk driving in a crash that killed 4 people. He remains in Mexico.
Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is giving new hints about a possible U.S. Senate race. Democrats are looking for someone to challenge Republican presidential candidate and U.S. Senator Rand Paul in November. Gray told the Herald Leader, quote, "The only reason I would consider another office is I believe Washington is terribly broken and I could make a practical contribution." The candidate filing deadline is January 26th. Well, now that it's the largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history, Powerball fever has spread throughout the nation.
That's the eve of the drawing. The jackpot for Saturday night's drawing sits at $700 million. But while the odds seem unimaginable, someone will eventually win, of course. And we asked lottery expert Don McNay if there are any real secrets to winning.
All these people that have systems and ideas and super numbers, it's just luck. You just happen to hit the lucky number on the lucky day, and that's just how it works.
McNay says if you do happen to win, make a plan before you go claim the money. You can see the winning numbers Saturday night on WKYT News at 11. A
Just
lot of folks playing and watching.
There you go, but somebody has to be lucky there.
Right.
Well, keep it right here this mid-morning. Passengers on a Greyhound bus didn't make it to their destination on time after the driver made an unscheduled and unusual stop.
And we'll have that story coming up after weather in about 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'm going to show you when we actually push this rain on out of here, then bring it back in for Saturday, and then switch it over for Sunday to some snow. I'll have all that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Still have that rain over toward the eastern zones for the bulk of it, and the backside is now rolling through the western sections. Let's get into it. Listen, let me show you what's going on outside. There is the look, some heavier downpours too. If you look really closely, you can see the reds, the yellows, the oranges. Those are pretty moderate showers, heavy showers falling at this moment. These are areas that have picked up already some good amounts of rain. We're already adding to that. We still have a little bit more to go. 460, 60, Lakeview Heights, Moorhead, there in Rowan County. You go over towards, say, Salt Lick and then go into Owensville. Head up Highway 11. That's a pretty wet go at it all the way to Flemingsburg. And you can see that rolling through Montgomery County and Bath County at this very moment. Winchester, a few sprinkles here and there, and that goes for Lexington too. But you know what? We have a little batch on the way. It's coming out of Woodford County and also back toward Anderson County. That's rolling eastbound. This is actually the back edge of the bulk of the rain because we span out and you can see towards 65 and past that there's nothing. That means that drier air will filter in later on this afternoon, and I expect that to happen, I would say, for the most part, around here in Lexington, roughly noontime is when we start to see most of the rain move on out. And then I would say eastern zones, it's going to be 1, maybe 2 p.m. before it moves on out. After that, we're looking pretty good. Frankfort 47, Corbin even seeing some bits and pieces of sunshine right now, but you'll get a couple more showers passing at least close to you here in the upcoming hours. Hour by hour forecast, the bulk of the rains this morning, afternoon off into the evening. Anything you have going on with any plans heading out to dinner, I'll be heading out to dinner about 6 p.m. later on this evening, and things will be mainly dry. I can't rule out a slight chance of rain later on this afternoon, but still for the most part we stay dry. Low 50s expected. Here is your 7-day forecast, and here's what you can expect. You can see 51 today, with mostly during the morning hours. That's when we see the rain. Saturday is mostly late in the day. I'd say 5 to 8 p.m. is when that rain starts to move on in tomorrow. Then we go to Sunday, and here comes some snow showers. Light snow accumulation is possible. That's an inch or less, especially north of I-64. Northern zones have the best shot at that, but at 70%, most of us will at least see some flakes. And then next week, that cold settles in, guys. Another shot at some snow there on Tuesday. So multiple chances at snow in the forecast, but both of those still showing up very light amounts, if any at all.
Yeah.
All right.
The cold is the dominant thing next week,
absolutely.
right?
You saw that on the screen.
And it didn't look like it
Certainly
ends
did.
anytime soon. All right, thank you.
Well, passengers on a Greyhound trip thought they were making a quick stop. What they didn't know was their driver wanted a nap.
Right, he was asleep. Passenger said it was about 4:30 Tuesday evening when the bus from Kansas City to Denver suddenly stopped at a hotel in Salina, Kansas. The driver checked into a hotel room and went to sleep. Passengers waited for an hour or so for their driver. Then they called the police and Greyhound and eventually figured out what had happened.
Well, on the other hand, do you want your driver driving when he needs a nap?
It's a very good point.
Gosh,
you
that's
don't,
a
but you
hard
can
one.
understand the concern too. Your bus driver just disappears for an hour. So.
Well, maybe he could have told them that.
Right,
so,
right.
Well, we're getting a look inside Fuller House and a fond farewell to a superstar.
And Suzanne Marquez has your eye on entertainment.
He was everybody's favorite building superintendent. Pat Harrington has died. Harrington played the lovable Schneider on the CBS sitcom One Day at a Time. The role won him an Emmy in 1984. Pat Harrington was 86. Robin Tunney, star of The Mentalist, and Zachary Quinto are getting ready for the off-Broadway debut of Smokefall. The drama tells the story of a family whose secrets are uncovered.
After I read it for the first time, it just kept working on me. It just kept, it got lodged in my consciousness and it kept revealing deeper aspects of itself.
There's no way you can get through life without trauma. And it's about the traumas in a family that make the family who they are.
Previews begin February 4th. Beyoncé will join headliners Coldplay for the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. Pepsi confirmed the big news to the Associated Press Thursday. You may remember Queen Bee brought the house down during the halftime event in 2013. And Netflix has released the first images of the cast and set from Fuller House. The Tanner family is all grown up, but back together inside the San Francisco house that was a sitcom staple in the late 80s and early 90s. Fuller House debuts on Netflix next month. And that's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, coming right up, she has done more than 10 comedy tours for troops overseas, and today she's going to stop by and make us laugh.
We're talking with comedian Sarah Tiana next on WKYT.
A reminder that tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $165 million, and Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is that huge $700 million. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's great to have you with us on WKYT. Her act emphasizes the thrills of growing up after what she calls the War of Northern Aggression and also the attempt to survive the current battle of the sexes.
And you can see her at Comedy Off-Broadway. We're happy to be joined by comedian Sarah Tiana. Welcome.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah. Everything is so blue here. I love it.
Well,
It is a sea of blue here.
Yes,
You're right.
Does becoming a comedian what you do when you really don't know
What you want to do?
Get a real big job out there.
Yeah, you're right.
believe
It's
he
just a
said
very
that. Oh, my
lazy
heavens.
career.
No, I
I
didn't
don't do
mean
nothing all
that.
day. No. Yeah, it was definitely not something I ever wanted to do. I was never told I was funny, but that's also because I'm from the South and I'm really sarcastic. So everybody would be like, Sarah, that's not funny, when you make fun of people. And then you're like, oh, okay.
So it must be.
Until I moved to California, I had no idea I was funny.
So how did you transition into this? When you moved to California, was that the move to become a comedian, or did it just kind of grow from something else?
It came from something else. I moved out there to be an actress, and then, I couldn't catch a cold, even for 2 years. And then I started stand-up on a dare, and then it just worked out. Like, I never thought it would go anywhere. I'd only ever seen one comedian in my life, Mitch Hedberg, and you don't see Mitch Hedberg and go, I could do that. You see Mitch Hedberg and you're like, I don't even know how that works. Yeah, so.
But now, you've had several trips around the world to
Yes.
perform for the troops, and hats off to you for that. And
Yeah.
it's bound to be a lot of fun, right?
I mean, kind of. I can't complain about the attention. But 12 military tours overseas. Started in Iraq in 2005. Saddam was still alive at the time, so it's pretty crazy and hectic. And my dad, he gets real nervous, when I go overseas, but he tries to look on the bright side of everything. So he'll be like, Sarah, what do you want to get out of it? And I'm like, at least a lieutenant, yeah.
You obviously have that wonderful Southern drawl and that take on comedy. Is it different when you're playing to an audience that's not Southern?
No, I think sometimes it's harder when you're playing to a Southern artist because they're an audience because they're just a little bit more judgmental. Like, is she really one of us? Because she lives in California, like it's constantly like you come back and they're like, you've changed, and I'm like, well, maybe you haven't changed. Maybe that's part of it, but no, I think definitely more people are, people love the South. People are endeared by it, unless it's like Ohio State fans, and then I'm like, well, I ain't playing at your club anyway.
You're from, you said Calhoun, Georgia.
I'm from Calhoun, Georgia. Yeah, we have a Nike outlet, and I went to the University of Georgia on a field trip in 8th grade. It was great. No, I went there. I did go to school there, and I graduated with honors, and so I'm a big Bulldog fan, and it's great to be back in SEC country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good to see you.
We're glad to have you here.
You can see Sarah Tiana tonight and tomorrow night, 7:15 and 9:45 each night, 2 shows, and then one on Sunday at 7:15 as well. And comedyoffbroadway.com is the website. Thanks for coming.
That's the website. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.
Anytime. Well, keep it right here this mid-morning.
Back in a moment, and we'll check in with the Mr. Food Test Kitchen next and see what you might cook up for the weekend.
We'll celebrate the king of rock and roll by serving up a platter stacked high with Elvis birthday cookies.
Good idea. Today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, this pudding cookie recipe combines 2 of Elvis's favorites, peanut butter and banana.
Can you believe that today, the king of rock and roll would have been 81 years old? That's right. It's Elvis's birthday. And rather than baking the customary birthday cake, we decided to create birthday cookies that bring together some of his favorites. All we do is combine some softened butter, a good amount of peanut butter, and that can be smooth or chunky, and an equal amount of granulated sugar and brown sugar. Once it's smooth, we add in a couple of eggs and a splash of vanilla and let it go until it's evenly mixed. Now we add our typical dry ingredients, flour, baking soda, salt, along with, get this, a package of banana cream pudding mix. And since no Elvis cookie would be complete without chocolate and bananas, we stir in mini chocolate chips and some dried banana slices to give these crunch. The fun thing about these is you can make them bite-sized or jumbo, depending on what size your gang likes. Let me tell you, these cookies are fit for a king. The king of rock and roll, that is. You can't miss with all of Elvis's favorites wrapped up into one melt-in-your-mouth cookie. The recipe for what we call Elvis's birthday cookies is online now, along with an entire collection of Elvis-inspired recipes that I know you're going to love. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, saluting the king with a cookie that'll have you saying,
I'm all shook up.
or as we say, ooh, it's so good. You're crazy.
She did do that, didn't she?
That's
Yes,
what
she
Bill
did.
would do, would it not be?
Yes.
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 I can see him doing that.
Love me tender, she could have said. You know,
There
something
you
like
go.
that.
There
Right,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay, let's look at the weather real quick, see what we're dealing with the rest of the afternoon. Most of this rain that you're seeing right now will be during the morning hours. Another hour and a half to 2 hours here in Lexington is when we start to move all that on out. So roughly noontime is when we're going to start to see this rain fade away. Central and western zones, southern zones as well for you too. Over toward the east, it's going to be around 1 to 2 p.m. And then the rest of the afternoon, only a slight chance of rain, mainly dry and low 50s. You got to love that. Late in the day there on Saturday, then the snow. That's what everybody wants to know about. The snow. We'll talk all about that further detail at noon.
You're not going to tell us more. We have to wait until then, so we hope you're back here at noon.
But Barb, I peeked ahead. It'll be up to 25 by next Thursday.
There you go.
Wow.
How exciting.
Heat wave.
Thanks for joining us for WKYT at Mid-Morning, and we'll see you back here at noon.
Have a great day, everybody.